Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Nancy, and if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, share and like my videos. In today's class, I'll be showing you how to sew a 6-piece skirt. In our previous tutorial, I explained how to cut a 6-piece skirt perfectly, so I'll be dropping the link in the description box. For these 6-piece skirts, I'll be using a full lining. For the front panel of the skirts, I have the center piece here, and I have the two side piece here. The next step is to place each pieces of the Ankara on the lining to trim out the lining for the skirt. Obviously, you can see that I trimmed out the lining exactly the way the pieces of the Ankara is. The next step is to place the 3 pieces of the front panel as shown. Then I'll take it to the sewing machine to secure the sides by 1/2 inch. So this is how the front panel of the skirt should be. I'll also sew the lining the same way. I'll place the right side of the lining on the right side of the Ankara. Obviously, the Ankara and the lining are both equal. And during the cutting of the skirt, I added 1 inch sewing allowance to the length of the skirt. So this means that I'll be deducting 1 inch from the length of the lining. Now the Ankara is 1 inch longer than the lining. This simply means that a little bit of the Ankara will be toned in after sewing. The next step is to place the hem of the lining on the hem of the Ankara equally. Then you take to the sewing machine to secure by 1/2 inch. After sewing the bottom of the skirt, the top of the skirt won't be equal, so I'll just place it, making sure that the waist of the skirt and the lining are equal. The next step is to take the skirt to the sewing machine to secure the sides by 1/2 inch. After securing the sides, you notch the hip cuff down to the knee. So here you can see that the lining flipped a little bit of the Ankara upwards because the Ankara was 1 inch longer than the lining. Alright guys, we are done with the front panel of the skirt, so let's go ahead to make the back panel of the skirt. For the back panel of the skirt, I also placed the Ankara on the lining to cut out exactly the same piece, and this is the center piece of the back panel, which is divided into 2 because of a zipper. And this is the 2 side piece of the back panel. Now I'll take each piece to secure them separately. Obviously, The sides of the back panel have some curves compared to the front panel due to the butt spacing I added to the back. And if you'd like to learn how I cut this skirt, I'll be dropping the link in the description box. So this is where I marked the zipper, and this will direct me on how to place the hip part of the skirt. Now I'll take this to the sewing machine to secure the side. So this is the butt spacing, and that's the reason it popped out a little. This is the other side of the back panel. Here is the zipper side, so it means I'll be sewing at the other side. Now I'll take the sewing machine to sew by 1/2 inch. So this is the two sides of the back panel. The next step is to place the lining on each piece. Now I'll also deduct 1 inch from the length of the lining. So the first step is to sew the hem by 1/2 inch. After that, I'll sew the sides by 1/2 inch. Just the same way I sewed the front panel. Alright guys, so just repeat the same sewing process for the other side of the back panel. Before attaching the front piece to the back piece, there are some necessary things we need to do. So for the front piece, I'll be folding it into two equally as shown. Then on the center of the waistline, I'll subtract 1 inch, which I'll then connect to the edge of the waistline. The next step is to place the front panel on the back panel to mark the zipper allowance. So whatever allowance is left at this knee part is what I'll be using straight down. Now I'll place the tape, deducting the 1.5 inches band that I'll be adding to the top. Then I'll start the sewing from about 8 inches. Now I'll take the skirt to the sewing machine to start the sewing from these 8 inches I marked straight down. Step is to mark the waist circumference, the hip circumference, and the knee circumference on the front panel. The waist circumference is 14 inches. The hip circumference is 18 inches. For the knee circumference, I'll subtract 2 inches from 18 inches, and that will be 16 inches. So the allowance I got at the side of the knee is what I'll be using all through to the down part of the skirt. The next step is to place the back panel on the front panel, and I'll pin the sides together. Now I'll take this to my sewing machine to secure the side seam. So let's quickly check if we got the right measurements. Here I have 4 inches. At the center of the waist, I also have 6 inches. Then at the side, I have 4 inches. Then for the hip circumference, here I have 6 inches. And I have 6 inches at the center, and also 6 inches at the side. So we are almost done sewing this beautiful skirt. So the next step is to take the waist circumference with the zipper allowance included. Here I have 31 inches, which means that I'll be making a band of 31 inches long and 4 inches wide. So I folded one side of the band in by half an inch. Now I'll bring out the skirt and I'll place the band on the wrong side of the skirt to pin the waist all through. Now I'll secure the waistband to the skirt by half an inch. After securing the waistband, this is how it should look like. The next step is to attach a elastic band at the side of the waistband, and this is done by marking the 2 dots in front and also the 2 dots at the back. The distance between the 2 dots at the side is 8 inches. So divided by 2, it is 4 inches plus 1 inch for attaching the band. So here I have a 5 inches length elastic band and it's in 2 places. So what I'm going to do is to pin the elastic at this dart line. Then I'll pin the other elastic on this dart line. I'll do the same for the other elastic. Now I'll take this to the sewing machine to stitch the edges of the elastic. After stitching the edges of the elastic, the next step is to fold the waistband into two. Then you secure the edges of the band. Now the next step is to attach a zipper. This is the outcome of the skirt. I have attached the zipper and you can see how neat this skirt is. You don't need to overlook anything in this skirt. All you just have to do is to use a full lining and sew it the same way I did it. Alright guys, thanks for watching to the very end. I hope this tutorial was helpful. And if you are new to my channel, my name is Nancy. Please subscribe, share and like my videos.